from the Republican side of the aisle. Oklahoma Representative Tom Cole is on Capitol Hill. Tom, whether you're Republican or Democrat, you have to be pleased with a number like 280,000.
Absolutely. Look, and the wage numbers moving up as well is another sign of good news. So, again, I'm very, very pleased with the number.
What does it tell you about the economy?
Well, it tells us that maybe the really disappointing first quarter was more weather-related and not a structural problem. It tells me that the Fed probably is on track to raise rates a little bit later this year. So it's steady as she goes. Now, we still have real problems. We still have underutilization of our labor force, but on balance, again, this is good news, and we could use a lot more of it. The recovery's been, frankly, painfully slow. It's about half of what we normally get after a steep recession. But again, if we're picking up a little bit of steam, then that's great.
When the TPP bill, many people are concerned that it's going to make us lose manufacturing jobs, lose them to countries in Asia. At this point, does the GOP have the 200 votes to fast-track that bill? Because people care about it in terms of jobs.
Yeah, they certainly do, and it's a very important thing. Look, 95% of the consumers in the world live outside the United States borders, and if we don't engage in a robust effort to be in those markets, I can assure you the Chinese and our other competitors will. So it's a mistake to turn inward instead of look outward. We're working hard to get the votes. We wish we had a little bit more Democratic help. Right now, we've only got about 17 or 18 Democratic House members out of 188 willing to step up and help a Democratic president to achieve his goal. We've got the leader of the Democrats saying it's not her job to try and help the president achieve his agenda, even though they're in the same party. But we're going to put up a really good number of Republicans. I think at the end of the day, we'll get the votes that we need.
But at this point, you don't have the 200?
I'm not in the business of talking about the whip count publicly. Let's just say we're continuing to work, but I feel very confident about where we're going to be at the end of the day.
Congressman, I don't need to remind Americans that there's a Republican Congress. There's still a Democrat in the White House. Today's gains for the month of May bring the president's job creation record in the private sector to almost 8.4 million. That's an awful lot of jobs. Does it make it harder effectively for your party to advance its interests in the debate over fiscal and other policies?
No, I'm not too worried about that. Look, we wouldn't control both houses of Congress if we weren't pretty adept at advancing our argument. It's the president who's lost ground politically here, not the Republican Party. But frankly, again, good news is good news. So I'm happy anytime jobs increase and wages go up. But again, it's been a relatively slow recovery by any measure. We were beset by problems around the world. The president's in a trade fight of his life and can't get any help from his own party. So I'd say we're doing the right things. I feel pretty comfortable about where we'll be politically. But in the meantime, look, I want the country to do well. So
but what about the state of Oklahoma?
Doing well, we'll be fine.
Your state of Oklahoma,
it's a little tougher for us.
Low, but the $60 oil is a tough pill to swallow.
It is, but our unemployment rate is still under 5%. We're a lot more diversified economy than we used to be. Our agricultural sector is doing pretty well. So, look, we would prefer, from our standpoint, obviously higher prices on oil is a little bit better. But from the country's standpoint, perhaps not. And we'll just do our best to continue to produce energy for the country and see where we go from there. But, again, Oklahoma's doing actually reasonably well right now.
Congressman, you sit on the Appropriations Committee. Clearly, one of the big pieces of information you need to digest this morning, the news that Chinese hackers have infiltrated the government once again and taken personal information about 4 million current and former federal employees. Is this a signal that Congress needs to appropriate more money to fight cyber hacking by the Chinese, the Russians, and others?
Frankly, I think we probably do. Now, you don't just spend money. You have to have something to spend it on. And I think most of the requests that the administration and others have made of Congress in terms of providing the funds for cybersecurity have indeed been met. So perhaps we need to relook at the programs if we're not able to be more successful than this. But at the end of the day, I actually consider this a very bipartisan issue. Both sides are concerned about cybersecurity. Both sides have been willing to support whatever measures are necessary. I think that'll continue going further forward. If anything, this will, add impetus to that.
Well, wake-up call for sure. Congressman, we thank you very much. Republican Congressman Tom Cole from the state of Oklahoma here with us on Market Makers. We have more jobs analysis ahead. Reaction from the White House with the Labor Secretary. Everybody, you will not want to miss it here on Market Makers. That's coming your way at around 9:35 this morning, maybe a couple of minutes early. We look forward to hearing from him. The White House, no doubt, very pleased with 280,000.
Everyone is, not just the White House.